Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Our guest is Dan Perez. He's the branch manager and loan officer with Gem Mortgage in Fullerton, California. Welcome aboard, Dan.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you having me on your talk show.
Hey, I think we got a lot of good things to cover with this today. Dan, we've had a busy week in the land of rates and all of that, and the Fed reduced the rate by 0.25%. What do you think of that? And what effect do you think it's going to have on the real estate market? Tell me your thoughts, Mr. Lender.
It's exciting, actually, to see the Fed's cut. I mean, last time we had a Fed cut was in 2008, and you
Right.
know what was going on in 2008. So
Right.
it's impressive, and I believe that just by them cutting and all the projections, instead of the rates going up like we all thought we would be at by now,
Oh, no
they're
kidding.
actually projecting to go down. So it's
Right.
exciting times for everybody.
We thought back in December and November we would be looking at 5.5%, 6% this time of year, weren't we?
Absolutely. The agencies actually projected in December, projected the rates to be at 5.1,
Right.
and they just recast at 4.1. That's what they're projecting where they're going to be at right now at the end of this year, which is exciting.
So it's a wonderful time to be buying a home. And what are your thoughts on the real estate market? What do you think? What's your prognosis for the real estate market for us?
Well, I'll give you an example. Let's talk about a home that you're pre-approved. Let's start off with a condo. Maybe you're pre-approved at a 400 with 2 bedrooms.
Right.
Well, this 1% drop projected. Let's say we're at 5, and now we're in the low 4s, low 3, and high 3s.
Uh-huh.
It's allowing you to buy an extra bedroom. Now you're going from a condo to maybe a single-family home. So, or instead of a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom home. I mean, there's the potential is there. Upgrading now. I mean, you saw your home. You saw it at the right market. You might have a higher interest rate, which you probably had a few years ago. Now it's allowing you to buy and upgrade yourself.
So instead of maybe refinancing, it may be a perfect time to purchase that next home, a larger home. Or on the other side of that, it may be a great opportunity to purchase your right sizing, and maybe you're looking for a smaller home. Maybe you've outlived your home, and now you've got 3,500 square feet, and your kids are all gone. It may be a perfect time to get that low rate, lots of equity, and maybe even a 15-year loan, and be done with it, and just have a good place to enjoy life.
You're so right, Joe, and you really have to make a decision soon. Now, this projection is only going to be for the next 3 to 4 months is what they're looking at. They
Right.
do see the market, the rates picking up a little bit more next year. So really, we have a great 90 days, maybe 4-month window that you can, up like you said, sell and purchase a higher home or downsize. It's a great opportunity.
So the other thing is we were talking in a workshop the other day about the benefits of home ownership. And across the country, home ownership is really the largest part of an individual's wealth as they age. And keep in mind, we're in Orange County, California. So the prices, when Dan talks about a $400,000 condo, I realize that can be a shocker for some of you, but for us, that's a nice little condo and a nice starter place to begin. But unless you begin at some level, it's hard to make up for that lost time. And then the inventory right now. The inventory is what I would consider to be a friendly inventory. Would you agree with that?
It's been steady. It's been increasing, especially in the last few 60 days. I've seen the inventory increase more than it's been for a while. So yeah, absolutely.
The other advantage that a home buyer has these days is that a lot of the investors have taken themselves out of the market. And I think and then a home buyer is going to say, "Oh my gosh, if the investors are coming out of the market, I better get out of that market too. Follow the investor."
The margins aren't the same.
No, they're not the same.
That's why they're out. Doesn't mean there is a bad thing for you as a home buyer, first-time home buyer, or
You're exact. They're two different goals.
Yes, absolutely.
An investor has a completely different goal than a home buyer does, and a home buyer is buying it to buy and hold. The one thing I can guarantee anybody who's listening and anybody who's not listening is that if you're renting, you're going to pay more in rent next year than you paid this year.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But if you buy, you're going to lock in that. Not only lock in a payment at a great interest rate, but you're also going to have the tax ramifications or the tax benefits of home ownership, where you're going to be able to write off your interest payments on that property, their property taxes, and those are things that a lot of people don't take into consideration as well.
Not only that, Joe, you can first-time home buyers talking about getting into the market due to the rates. You can actually get yourself what's called a CalHFA program at a 3.625 right now, with 5.5% towards closing costs and down payment.
Oh,
At 3.625 30-year fix. Come on, tell me you can't do this.
That's free money.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I just think a lot of people are on the sideline thinking that because the homes are going to go down, the rates are going to go up, and well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I was reading some projections earlier, and we're still looks like 2020 is going to be a solid year into October, to the fourth quarter.
I think the other thing is that economics 101 has remained the same since the beginning of time, which is the law of supply and demand. And the demand for housing is high. I mean, everybody, what's a big buzzword? There's a housing shortage. Well, that just means that there's a big demand for housing, which means that prices are going to continue to rise. Now, they may not rise at a 20% clip, but do we really want that? That's not sustainable. We don't want that.
Absolutely not.
But to be able to get into that first home, or any home for that matter, now it is just a wonderful time to be able to entertain that. Now, one other question. We focused a lot on buyers, but let's talk about sellers for a second. What do you think about the sellers market? Is it a great time to be selling? Should they be, what do you think? As a lender, what you see, you get different conversations than I do.
Absolutely. And as a seller, it's a great opportunity depending on what your goals are.
Right.
You can sell, buy a bigger property, downsize like we talked a little bit about earlier. But if you're thinking, okay, do I really want to sell and buy high? It doesn't matter, because when you bought 8 years ago, you bought at a lower cost.
Right.
So you're washing even it out, and it's a much better. It's a great opportunity due to the rates.
Right.
So it's absolutely.
And back to home ownership a little bit. I'm really, my mom and dad owned their home, and the first home they bought was, they lived in the garage because they built it. And on payday, they'd go down. My dad would go down and buy 2x4s, as many as he could, and he'd build this house as they went. But I'm really thankful that nowadays that they did own that house, because that was their main source of wealth, and that's given us the ability to really take care of my mom and dad. My dad passed away a couple of years ago. My mom's 91, and she's in an assisted care facility. And when the house was sold, that was able to finance her later years in life, and very comfortably, to where it was not a burden on the family or her.
They earned it.
Yeah,
they earned it. They bought it, they built it, and
and
it's exciting to hear a story like that. So thank you.
And so now we're able to do that again, and you don't need to buy that perfect house. You can think about, what, we'll live here. And right now, everybody seems to be living at about 10 years at a place, and that's their average length of time. And then the other folks in California and Orange County, what happens in the nation, the national real estate market, the national news, all of that, it has absolutely nothing to do with Orange County, California. They're two completely different environments. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Completely different. Orange County is I call it a different beast.
Yeah.
It operates different than Inland Empire or out of the state. It's completely different. It's harder. Rates are homes are increasing value, so it moves a lot quicker. So it's you got to jump on it before they keep going. So.
Yeah, we had just an example. We've got one right now to where it's on the market for $850 in a great neighborhood, wonderful neighborhood, beautiful house, got a pool home. It's dated, but we've already had 3 offers on it. So the market is really
it's
strong.
An opportunity.
It is an opportunity.
They're seeing that. They're seeing that they can find the right. The right bone in the property.
That's right.
And allowing them to come in and say, okay, I'm getting it for $850, then I'm going to build it. I'm going to fix it to my style.
Yeah.
Upgrade it my way.
And you're right, Dan. And they're able to move in. They're going to move in, and they're going to work on it as they go. So that's really that's powerful stuff. And that's where the market is. There's plenty of opportunity out there. buyers aren't competing with the cash buyers and losing out like we talked earlier. Um, and it's just a great opportunity. It's good, and the process is really simple. You contact a guy like Dan Perez, get yourself pre-qualified. Um, he knows of many great lenders realtors that you can work with if you don't know of anybody. And of course, we've got the best in the business here at Century 21 Discovery. We've got to throw that out, or else I'd be in trouble. But other than that, is there anything you want to add to the conversation, Dan?
You know what? Just to anybody out there who's thinking of buying, who's thinking of refinancing, any realtors that are looking to just ask me questions.
Right.
If they have a scenario, something's going on with a buyer, they're in trouble with a buyer, just call me. We're flexible. Glad to answer my cell phone. I have a full staff that supports me, and
Good.
It's the right time to be buying homes and refinancing right now.
Good.
So.
Well, Dan, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. I think we gave a lot of good information out here today. And of course, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And enjoy life and enjoy the rest of your day. Charge on.